Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special video because today I'm going to be sharing the story of how I got to start working with kids. Now, I have a very long journey of how I started a career in working with children. And I've been in various places where I've worked with children. So I'm going to start from the very beginning and like what kind of inspired me to join this career. And I love this career so much. I'm going to get into depth in a lot of stuff that I've gone through during this journey, and a lot of it was good and a lot of it was not so much good, but at the end of all of it, it came out to be a very good journey. So let's start from the very beginning, and yeah, let's go. So I started working with children when I was 16 years old. And so if I've shared this many times on my Instagrams, I think the first video on my channel, I actually shared that I work for a school district now. But at the very beginning, when I was 16 in the state of New York, you can start working with children at 16 years old, whether it's summer camp or like little programs like that, after school programs, you can start at 16 years old. So I started at 16 years old working in an after school program with children. But before I started working with after school program, I actually started to work in the summer camp that the after school program provided during the summertime. So after the after school program is done during the regular school year, they hop right into a summer camp at a different location. So I started out the year before I started working with aftercare. I started in the summer camp program. So and just a little backstory on that whole thing. So I actually worked with my mom all 6 years of working with children. And so basically I went to that program when I was little, and I knew the director, I knew most of the supervisors. The supervisors, however, did change throughout the years. So but the woman that I knew at the very beginning, like, she loved me, I loved her, she was so sweet. They treated my mom with the most respect. They really my family really valued them because they gave my mom a shot, and they also gave me a shot when I was of age to start working. So my mom actually helped me get this job with the after school program and summer camp. And since they knew me already, they did have to interview me, so I did go in for an interview. It was mostly just like getting to know who I was, like, outside of being a kid and like, just wanting to get a job working with children. So I did talk to them a lot about who I was, and like, I was still in high school at the time, so I really didn't know what I wanted to do after high school. I was in like 10th grade, I think. So that was kind of like the hardest part of the interview, because they were asking me like, was this going to be like your overall goal? Like, is this what you want as a career? And at the time I said yes, because I thought it was going to be something I wanted to do the rest of my life. So I said yes, and they hired me on the spot, and I started the summer camp in July. So, my first year doing summer camp was my most difficult, I believe, just because it was really just like hard for me to figure out like what was going on. Like, at this point, I started working with the smaller ages. So there's two camps. There was one for 4 to 6 year olds, and then the other camp was 7 to 13 year olds. Very different groups. So they had, most of the time when you start out with that program, they have you start out with the smaller group of children, because they believe it's going to be easier for you to adjust to working with kids, which was right. I do believe that to this day. I think it was a lot easier for me to start with that group than to start out with like the older kids. So yeah, I did work with like kindergarten, preschool, and first grade children. And so going into it, I was very shy. Like, I didn't want to yell at the kids. I didn't want to discipline kids. I just was very shy. All the kids really liked me because I was that one counselor that didn't like really like yell a lot or have a loud voice. And I really enjoyed it though. It was a lot of fun. If you've watched another video of mine, I did post a story about how the first year that I worked with kids, I got sick with a really bad virus. So I was out for 2 weeks during that time period. That was really rough, but I got through it. So after that, I started working with the after school program. Now, after school program ran from 2:30 to 5:30 at night. And so I would work that every day. At the beginning of my of working with aftercare, the first couple years, I was with the older kids in after school. Now, it might sound a little weird, like I was with the younger kids during the summer and then they switched me to big kids for the school year. That is because they really thought that I had a lot of potential and that they just shoved me into it. So they trusted me, like they really thought I could do it. So I went in and I started with the older kids, and the older kids was actually really good. Like I really enjoyed my time working with the older kids. As years went on, I actually requested to go back with the younger kids though for aftercare, just because I felt like that was more my comfort. And I actually ended up finding out, like during those couple years of high school, that I wanted to actually become a kindergarten teacher. That was my first goal. So I actually wanted to get more experience working with the younger kids. And so I started working with the after school program in the younger ages, and down there in that area, it's a lot smaller. It's a lot more contained. And up with the bigger kids, I found that it was a lot more difficult just because it's a lot bigger than working down with one classroom full of just 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. So very different dynamics, and I was more comfortable with the smaller environment. So that is kind of like how I got my start working with kids. Now, I graduated high school in 2017. And so when I graduated high school, I had the goal of going into a community college right near me to get my special education teacher's assistant certificate in the state of New York. And so I got that because I really didn't know if I wanted to be a teacher at that point. I didn't know if I wanted the responsibility of being a full-on teacher yet, which is totally fine. I can't stress that enough. It's okay to not know what you want right off the bat. And so I just went in and got my certificate. It was a very excellent program. I had a really, really enjoyable time doing that program. And so after that, I graduated in May of 2018 with my certificate. And then after that, I started applying right to preschools, school districts to get a TA job because unfortunately after that, I really had nothing else to go to. So I had to start working. And so I was still working my after school job. I was still working, all that stuff was still happening while I was still trying to find, a job that was full-time, because after school program is only a part-time job and I really wanted a full-time. So I was applying to places, and in the school that I work at for the after school program, there is a pre-K program that runs separately from the school district, if that makes any sense. So I found out that they were hiring for TAs, and I am New York State certified, so I applied immediately. And I want to say a week after I applied, I got a call for an interview. So I went into the interview. It was really, really difficult. The interview was not easy. The questions were kind of crazy, and I didn't really think I got the job. But then the week after that, I got a call saying that I was hired, and I started working for the preschool program in that school. So it was a really, I want to say, challenge, because I didn't know that I didn't think I was good enough for it, but I got the job. So I got the job. I started working for that pre-K program, and then after that, I started working. To apply to different school districts. So the reason why I did that was because working for a preschool is a little bit different than working for a school district, and a lot of schools don't have preschools that are connected to the school district. They're kind of like separate agencies. And so I wanted to work for a school district because I wanted to work with school-age children, and unfortunately pre-K is not school age. As much as I loved working with preschool, I really wanted to work with school-age. So I actually applied to different school districts. I applied to the school district that had the pre-K in it, and unfortunately I didn't get that job because there was more people with more experience in front of me, which was totally fine. And then after that, I applied to another school district, and this school district is a very excellent school district in my area. It's a top notch. Like, it's very rare to get a job here. It's very difficult. So I applied, and I got a call literally a week after I started working for that preschool job. So I went in for the interview. It was really easy, actually. It was actually easier than the preschool one. And so I left. I had very positive vibes. Like, I really felt like I was going to end up getting something at some point, even if it wasn't like right away. And then after that, I went in and I did I did another interview, I think. Yeah, it was another, like, it had a few interviews involved. And then I kept working for that pre-K program. And then I want to say around Christmas time, I got a call, the head teacher I was working for got a call from that school district asking for a reference for me. And so I assumed, like, I'm probably gonna get the job soon. I don't know when, but I was gonna, I probably was gonna be hired soon. So I started, like, really getting excited because I didn't think I was gonna get a job in that school district. It's very, very rare. And so, I waited and waited and waited. And finally, after we got back from Christmas break, I got a call from um, the um, the school district, and they asked me if I wanted to start working with a kindergarten classroom in their school district, and I said yes. I took the offer and I started working for a school district. Now, I literally love the school district I work for. They treat me very nice. It's an excellent school district, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else at this point. But yeah, it's pretty much my story with working with kids, and that's how I got started. It's been a very long journey, but I've had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of ups and downs. That comes with everything, though. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my story, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.